Hello again, all you amazing people. Welcome to another episode of Walking and Talking with Jerry K. I am Jerry K, so come and walk with me. So, today's topic is inspired by something that I saw online. I was just doing a little surfing, checking stuff out, and I saw something that said, and again, this is geared for parents, okay? It said, would you die for your children? And I thought that was a pretty good question. Because I think if you ask most parents, not all, unfortunately, but I think if you'd ask most parents the question, would you die for your child? Their answer would be yes. Meaning that if you had to give up your life in order to save your child, would you? And I think even in nature, most of the times that's a truth. But I think most people that are parents that have children, maybe there's some people that don't even have children, that are step parents, or even aunts or uncles, grandparents, anybody with a child in their life. I think the love can go so deep that if the situation presented itself where it was either you lay down your life or this child was going to die, I think a lot of people would say, yeah, you know what, I would. So this thing that I saw posed that question, but then it posed an even more important question, at least in my opinion. This is the reason that this is today's topic. Is right after it said, or presented the question, would you die for your child? It then followed up with another question that again I think is even more important, which is, would you live for your child? And what they meant by that was being willing to die for somebody else is noble. Or being willing to live for somebody else, that's a calling. That's love. That's commitment. Because what it was saying was, yeah, well, you might be willing to die, put yourself in harm's way to protect somebody else. The real question is, would you be willing to do the things necessary to live, to be available for your kids as long as you can be? That's a really good question. And I think a lot of people, if they really thought about that question, really looked at it for what it was, they would have to answer that no, they really aren't living for their child. Or actually, it's really more about their child's future, their grandchildren's future. And what I mean by that is taking care of themselves enough so that they're there, so that they are present, that they can physically be there as all these things in life happen, all the milestones that your children are going to go through. Because remember, your child doesn't stop being your child just because they turn 18. Your child's going to be your child from the day they're born to the day you die. And even that, they're still your child. So really keep in mind that if you say that you're willing to die for somebody, that's a pretty big sacrifice. And the real question is, how far would you go to be willing to live for them? Would you be willing to maybe alter and change some of your own bad habits that might lead you to a premature leaving of this earth? I say a lot of things that there's a lot of things in life that aren't easy, but they're definitely worth it. This would definitely be one of those. But putting it in this different framework, kind of in a different context, to say, yeah, it's almost easy to say I would die for somebody. Because if I'm being realistic and being honest, most of us never get that chance to prove it. However, we could prove on a daily basis that we care enough about somebody to live for them, to take care of ourselves enough to where we do not succumb to a premature death. There's no reason to. It's And it was such a profound question when I saw it. You know, it was like, would you be willing to do the things that are needed to keep you healthy so that you're around, and also to set a great example for these people that you're saying that you care about so that they'll be around and they would subsequently provide that same example for maybe their own children or the children that they will be faced with in their lives in the future. You know, that's a huge domino effect. That's that ripple effect, you know. Drop a pebble in a pond and the ripples have a much more far-reaching impact than most people ever even think about, okay? So that question, I'm going to pose it one more time. If you say as a parent or someone with a child in your life that you would die for them, that if the circumstances availed themselves, that you would put their continued living ahead of your own. If you would say yes to that question, then I will challenge you to say yes to the question, would you also be willing to do what is necessary to live for that same person, to be there for that same person, because I can tell you what, I know that at the end of the day, your kids are going to much prefer that you're there for as long as possible than potentially leaving this world early as a result of a lack of care for yourself. So if you really do care about people in your life, if you in your heart of hearts, if your heart and your mind, you honestly would say that you would die for somebody, then I challenge you, live for that same person. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Please like, subscribe, do all that stuff that we ask you to do to help support the channel, support the idea of New You, the concept of getting out there, making some changes that can lead to some positivity in your life. That's what we're about, and we really hope that people are going to start gravitating toward this, spreading the word, letting other people know about it, because I think there's a lot of people out there. I don't think there's a lot of people. I know there's a lot of people out there that really need, I don't want to say direction, but it is kind of direction. They just need to be pointed in the right area so they can start tapping into the resources that are going to start providing really positive but noticeable results for them in both their health and their happiness and everything else that goes along with that. So I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Everybody get your steps in. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Healthy hydration, extremely important. And we will catch you on the next episode of Walking and Talking with Jerry K. Later.